Hello, thanks for joining our session here in virtual NACIS. I'm Stephanie May here in Seattle. I'm the cartography lead on the project we're about to talk about. I'd also like to introduce you to Vlad Guzman-Peregrin in Boston. He's the tech lead on the Facebook map. And we're excited to be here today to present you with this map that if you log onto Facebook, you can see and interact with. We made a map. We're really pleased to submit it to you for the first time, humbly, for you to judge on its cartographic merits. But also we are really excited to share some details about our collaboration and how we really feel like having an integrated model that incorporates both the best elements of cartography and the best thinking about product engineering and engineering workflows generally, promotes collaboration and innovation for both cartographers and engineers. So we're going to ask each other and ourselves a series of questions in order to take you through what we have to say about this map. First, why did we make this map? I'm going to ask that question to Vlad in a moment here to explain a bit about what Facebook needs in a map. Next, what makes this map unique, both from a cartographic perspective and also from a workflow, a model for collaboration perspective. Next, how does our workflow actually work? What do we want to share about that with all of you? And finally, is this map done? And then at the end, we'll have time for your questions, and looking forward to those. So Vlad, why did we make this map?
Thank you, Stephanie. So indeed, so Facebook's mission is to give people the power to build community and to bring the world closer together. And it turns out, when doing that, maps are a really useful tool. So next slide. On our various platforms, it turns out we use maps in over 140 places, to enable interactions between people, to give people the ability to, check in at a state park when they're going for a hike, and to see and to share that with our friends, or to search their local community for cafes that they might go to, or to share with their friends when they're excited to travel somewhere. And it turns out, of course, there's over 3 billion people who use the various platforms that are part of Facebook. And some folks, have these really modern, powerful devices that have, that enable really rich experiences, with vector renderers and really rich and interactive experiences. And next slide. Some folks have, sort of older devices or more like feature phones where, they maybe have access to just a browser. And so for those folks, they need more of a raster experience where the server does all of the map rendering and puts the pins on it and stuff like that. And the question, the challenge for us is, how do we build an integrated experience that kind of presents the best of this kind of building of community and feeling closer to your world to all of these people? And so, which brings us to our next question. So Stephanie, what is it that makes this map unique?
Thanks, Vlad. Yeah, so as Vlad said, there are significant and compelling technical challenges that would lead a company like Facebook to build its own integrated mapping platform that are specific to its mission and specific to its users. But what does a map like this become cartographically? So first and foremost, I want to call out how we went about answering this question of what is this map cartographically, because it was with quite an ensemble cast. There's quite a diversity of skill sets involved in what we've done over the last year and a half to 2 years. And we've borrowed a lot of expertise or we've asked for and gotten a lot of great insights and expertise from a variety of folks. Some of these faces you may recognize, in part because in order to do this, we used a contract through Stamen Design, who's been in this industry for about 10 years. That gave us the flexibility to not be just one cartographic voice shouting in the wind, but to be a bunch of cartographers embedded with a bunch of engineers, learning from each other in an integrated team. Um, so uh, what we've come up with and how this thing has evolved as we've answered this question of what is this map is, well, first and foremost, it's a social media map. So bringing people close together is about recognizing the social attractors in our world, and making sure that the activities and natural attractions, the natural environment, is prominent on our map and stands out in this way, that we're incorporating human settlement types like neighborhoods, and that we're highlighting public and social places. Um, you'll see when you open up Facebook and log in and start to look around, this map pop out at you as it's starting to be integrated into these different spaces, and it's really exciting to see, and certainly just the beginning of what this map will look like. But here's a little a sneak peek at some of those 140 surfaces that Vlad mentioned and how this map looks inside of them. But to illuminate a little bit more about this larger piece of this collaboration a bit more, let's talk about the how of how we built this map. The flow that we have involves building the same map over and over again. And that's the one essential component of this collaboration. It's not one and done. Every single week, we aim to have a snapshot of the map, which means we have modifications to the style sheet, modifications to the tile schema, which both the cartographers and engineers are involved in influencing and building. We snapshot it every week for the sake of enabling feedback. We enable feedback through a bunch of trained map evaluators who can go much deeper into the data to look at how our changes are impacting all of the edge cases. And if I don't have to tell this audience in cartography, almost everything is an edge case. So having those folks go deeper and give us feedback on what our changes really mean worldwide is really valuable. But it also gives us an opportunity to pause every week and pause throughout the cycle, recognize the touch points that are going through, so that we can start to identify for the engineers embedded within our team what parts of this process are automatable, what parts of this process are innovatable, what parts of this process still require human eyes, to state the obvious, and to work within the work that we're doing, and how can we all work together, and how can we coordinate to start to make progress through weekly iterations. But really, the weekly cadence is misleading, because in actual fact, we're integrating the changes that we are making as quickly as we possibly can. So we have a daily tile build, which is awesome. Every morning, the tile build sputters to life, and it pulls in all of the great data sources which we use, from OpenStreetMap and Natural Earth to other hand-curated custom or internal data sets. It filters them through the schema logic that we've written. It runs them through the tile pipeline. It turns around and bakes these tiles. Then it applies all of the latest assets, from styles and fonts to sprites and textures, and deliver us up a hot, fresh baked map every day. And the beauty of that is that we can move much faster than we otherwise would be able to. We can take more risks. We can try things out, and we can iterate quickly throughout the week, so that when we get to that weekly snapshot point, we have something that we're ready for feedback on.
And so, thinking about what a week looks like in this process of iteration where you're coming in. Maybe what you're wanting to do is to change how campgrounds show up, or maybe you're interested in adjusting or bringing to life better pedestrian boardwalks or perhaps rural airfields. um, Here's a picture of what that might look like, and kind of a little bit of a preview of some of the tools that we use for this. I've some of the tools are, some of our internal tools are kind of highlighted here. I'll show a couple of them on coming slides. On Monday, you might come in and be doing some data exploration. You might go and browse the map, or browse our spatial index that's built as part of the daily tile pipeline for, hey, where in the world are there rural airfields? Or you might read the OSM wiki to find out, hey, well, how are pedestrian boardwalks represented, and how or you might be pulling up some natural earth data in QGIS just to kind of look at it and see how it's tagged and what it looks like. On Tuesday, you might be actually doing some ETL work. You might be uploading some natural earth data into the data sets that are going to be incorporated into the pipeline, or you might be using some Lua to edit the pre-processing schema, the schema rules, or you might be using Python to bring in new post-processing flows. And then this is when you start iterating. This actually, we have a tool called Pipeline as a Service, which combined with something called Map Compare allows you to render the map in near real time. There's a little snapshot of it coming soon. So to render the map in real time, so that as you make changes, whether it's to the schema rules or the post processors, you can see what those would look like on the actual finished product. And so you do that, Wednesday through Thursday. You're kind of prototyping, implementing, and going back and forth. And you're looking at the map, and maybe you're making some style changes, or adding some new sprites that get incorporated again. Our aim here is to make the feedback cycle as short as possible, so that you're really able to see changes come to life second to second here. And then by the time Friday rolls around, you've got kind of an evaluation version that you're able to give to the map evaluation specialists who are going to go really deep and search the world for all those corner cases that Stephanie mentioned. So wanted to share a little deeper look into some of the tools we've built. So next we have Tile Finder. This is a tool where we actually enable people, ourselves, to write SQL that goes and searches our spatial indexes directly to sort of point to, hey, what are the parts of the world where, in this case, parking aisles might show up. And it's just, you write in some SQL, you say, hey, here's OSM, where are the parking aisles? And you find different parts of the world on which to start prototyping. And then next slide, once you've found a part of the world to prototype on, you have Pipeline as a Service and Map Compare, which again enable you to make a change to the logic that builds the map and preview it, and may even compare several maps side by side. And this, here you're looking at a view where you can pull up different versions of the style and compare what they look like together. And you can be looking at yesterday's build versus today's build, or yesterday's build versus the version that you have based on the schema logic on your development environment. And so the next question is the map done? To which the answer here, this is a phrase we use at Facebook all the time. This journey is just 1% finished. We firmly believe we've got a lot to learn. We've already learned a lot from each other, and from kind of this process of bringing this map to life. And I think we fully expect to keep learning from this, and to keep as we keep improving the map and building it and make it better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. And now we'd like to open it up to your questions.